This is the latest story from Fairy Tale Flip. And no, I didn't make my hair flip just because of the name. It just did this. I have no idea how and when. So anyway, in this Fairy Tale Flip, we turn over every line, every motif, every theme, every archetype, and look at it from its underside. Talk about fun. We find the hidden meanings and see how they can apply to our own lives and how we might make better choices having considered what happens to these characters in these stories. This month, we're going to explore the Greek myth about Persephone and Hades. It's a really popular story that I used to love reading when I was young, and now I have the chance to look at it as an adult woman, as an educator, and see that what I used to think was romantic and full of grandeur is really a myth amongst myths. The story of a girl whose life changes without her consent, and because of decisions of others around her, and let's be honest, mostly these by men. Is that romantic? You tell me. So what can this story help us with today? What could we use it for to instill in our young girls and boys that we may influence so that both of them will make more respectful decisions for themselves and for others? I really look forward to you sharing your thoughts in the matter after listening to this version of the story. And just to get you in the mood, I've taken the title with what some are calling Persephone Captured by Hades. What do you think the title should be? Something less subjective? Something stronger? Let me know, please. Ready for the story? In a beautiful meadow, Persephone was playing with her dearest friends, joyfully picking flowers such as roses, crocuses, violets, lilies, and hyacinths. Demeter, her mother, was the goddess of Earth's fertility and harvest, and Zeus, her father, was the king of all the Olympians. Her mother was the most nurturing of goddesses, and in turn was the most nurturing mother. She cared as deeply for her daughter as she did the earth. Zeus was attentive, but in the end was continually distracted by wanting other women, and did not attend to the needs of his daughter as well as he could have. Persephone lived a happy, fruitful childhood, playing with the other Olympian children and spending time in the gardens of Olympus. Hades, the god of the underworld, had watched Persephone grow, and on this day was captivated by her beauty, and was resolved to make her his bride. He knew that Demeter would never allow her daughter to marry the god of the underworld, so he took matters into his own hands. He spoke with Zeus and asked for permission to have Persephone as his bride. Without consulting Demeter, Zeus gave his permission, though he warned his brother that Demeter would not be pleased. Hades waited until he found the perfect moment to abscond with his girl he found so beautiful, innocent, and enticing, and was watching Persephone this day, frolicking amongst the flowers with her nymph companions. When Persephone noticed a particularly beautiful narcissus flower and bent down to pluck it, the ground beneath her opened up and Hades emerged from the underworld in his chariot. Before anyone could react, Hades grabbed the lovely maiden, and as she screamed for help, descended into his underworld kingdom, while the gap in the earth closed after them. The other girls had not seen anything, because everything happened very quickly. They didn't have a clue at the sudden disappearance of Persephone. The whole incident, however, had been witnessed by Zeus, father of the maiden and brother of the abductor, as well as by Helios, god of the sun. Zeus decided to keep silent about the whole thing to prevent a fight with his brother, while Helios thought it better not to get involved in anything that didn't concern him. When Demeter realized that her daughter was missing, she became stricken with grief. Distraught and heartbroken, she wandered the earth looking for her daughter. In her anguish, she stripped the jewels from her immortal hair, clothed herself in a black robe, and soared like a bird across waters and lands in desperate search of Persephone. Her immense sorrow caused the earth to grow dark, cold, and barren. The once lush meadows yellowed, the trees curled and furled, the rain stopped. No one dared reveal the truth to her, neither god nor mortal. Not even a bird appeared to offer guidance. For days and weeks, Demeter wandered the earth, carrying 2 torches in her hand. Her grief was so profound that she refused both ambrosia and nectar and would not bathe her body in water. One day she met Hecate, who also carried a torch. Hecate spoke with compassion. "Demeter, lady, you who bring the harvest and scatter rich gifts, who took Persephone and wounded your heart so deeply? I heard her voice screaming, but could not see who took her. I would tell you the truth." Without speaking, Demeter and Hecate, bearing their torches, sought out the sun, known as the spy of gods and men. Standing before his horses, the great goddess questioned him about her daughter's fate. The sun replied with sympathy, "Daughter of Rhea, Demeter, you will learn this. I respect you and feel for you because of your beautiful footed daughter. Zeus bears responsibility, for he gave her to be Hades' wife. His brother took her violently to the dark realm, heedless of her cries. But goddess, cease your mourning. Your desperate anger serves no purpose. Hades, now your son-in-law, commands respect as ruler of 1/3 of the world." As the sun departed, an even greater pain consumed the goddess. Enraged at Zeus's betrayal, Demeter confronted him. He informed her of Persephone's marriage to Hades in the underworld. She demanded Zeus to return Persephone to her care, but Zeus refused. He would not be ordered by a woman, even though Demeter was not only one of his wives, but also his sister. He had taken Demeter by force himself in conceiving Persephone, and saw little wrong in how his brother had forced himself on who was in truth Hades' niece. Demeter deeply believed that Hades, who after all had only dead people for company, was not the right husband for her sweet daughter. She also got angry at Zeus for not having revealed this to her. To punish gods and mortals, Demeter decided to take a long and indefinite leave from her duties as the goddess of harvest and fertility, with devastating consequences. Even more than before, the earth began to dry up. Harvests failed. Plants lost their fruitfulness. Animals were dying for lack of food, and famine spread to the whole earth, resulting in untold misery. The cries of the people who were suffering reached Olympus and the divine ears of Zeus. Even after multiple gods were sent by him to persuade Demeter to end her wrath, she remained firm in her position. She refused to allow the earth to bloom and to return to her duties until Persephone was restored to her. The mighty god Zeus finally realized that if he didn't do something about his wife's wrath, all humanity would disappear, and then who would worship him? Thus he tried to find another solution to both calm Demeter and please Hades. He promised Demeter to restore Persephone to her if it could be proved that the girl had been taken against her will. Otherwise, Persephone would forever live with Hades as his bride. Zeus sent Hermes to the underworld to negotiate Persephone's release. Meanwhile, upon her initial arrival to the underworld, Persephone was consumed with fear and confusion. The realm of the dead was dark, gloomy, and full of sorrowful souls. As she wandered through the winding caverns and passages, she could hear the anguished cries of the dead echoing all around her. It was a stark contrast to the vibrant and colorful world of the living that she had known all her life. At first, Hades tried to comfort Persephone with gifts and offerings, hoping to win her over with his wealth and power. He showed her the vast treasures of the underworld, including precious jewels, gold, and silver. He offered her the finest foods and wines, but Persephone was reluctant to accept. She let no food nor drink pass her lips. But Hades, determined not to lose his queen, tricked her into eating some pomegranate seeds, as those who eat from the depths of hell must always return. Persephone ate 6 pomegranate seeds, and Hermes had to report to the gods on Olympus this fact. When Demeter found out her daughter was fated to live in the underworld the rest of her days, She told all that she would never again nurture the earth if her daughter had to stay there. And so a compromise was eventually reached, with Persephone agreeing to spend half the year with Hades in the underworld, 1 month for each of the seeds she had eaten, and half of the year with her mother on earth. After the compromise, every time Persephone returns to the world above, Demeter is overjoyed. The earth bursts into bloom and the crops grow tall and strong once again. But when Persephone returns to the underworld, Demeter is once again plunged into grief, and the earth is barren and lifeless. Please let us know what you think of the story, what you think the title should be, and what lessons you think you could pass on. See you soon.